Tonight on Ben TV, Midsumma Musings with host Dean Arcuri speaking with Matto Lucas. On Queer Idea, host Mark discusses queer TV, and to finish up tonight, Q Sport with Team Melbourne clubs Glamourhead Sharks and Melbourne Surge.
Welcome to Midsumma Musings, and today we're talking all things art in Midsumma with the lovely Matto Lucas. Hi, Matto.
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for joining me. I had to do it. I couldn't help myself. It's just fun. Art. You're an amazing visual artist. Oh, come on, you are.
I'm pretty great.
You are. You're pretty good. Let it go with you. You're a Midsumma Life member.
Yeah.
You've had work in Midsumma over the years.
A long time.
It's really
I can't
great.
actually.
I still haven't seen any of it.
Yes, because you've got
that's a
too many
complaint we often have because I'm doing so many things. But I mean, admittedly, for you, art is life. So much so, he's wearing some paint and things. He didn't even have time to get changed to come into the studio today.
I'm in the middle of a bump in.
He is art, and that's the way that it goes. So here's an interesting question: what does queer art mean?
Well, okay.
Let's just dive right into the light stuff.
Yeah. I think what's so great about Midsumma is that queer art, there's a lot of different politics and things going on for queer artists. And yes, you've got like beautiful oil paintings of torsos and beautiful men, which is aesthetically pleasing. But what's really great is it does give a platform, and Rat, who organises most of the visual art stuff, does give a really great platform for many artists to be talking about other politics that's going on in the queer community. And yeah, lots of niche things and not just the beautiful objectification of pseudo Adonis men.
I mean, admittedly, that's what some people just put forward as their image, so it gets people to get attention.
And it is, you know,
it's a way to roll.
It is nice to look at.
Totally.
But there are a few really important other kind of dynamics going on that people talk about through their art. So personally, I talk a lot about body politic, and I've got kind of a grating relationship with that Adonis kind of image versus reality.
So what art skill are you working on at the moment?
At the moment, more...
Because you do so much, I can't just go, what is it that you do?
It's more body value systems. So the queered body and how we exist and how we can operate as queer men inside a community that fetishizes hypermasculinity and that kind of super Adonis look.
I love it. That's the abbreviated version of your current exploration of art. What stuff did you have in Midsumma this year?
So this year I had a performance installation solo show called Somatotype at Off the Curb Gallery, and I also did a performance for the Company of Men group show. So
now, were you a part of the Company of Men last year as well?
No, I documented it for Melbourne Art Review, but yeah, it was a really interesting kind of full-on experience. So it's been a really great experience being a part of it this year.
Well, that's when you're looking at the hyper-masculine body politic, the Company of Men thing kind of collides with that. And that's pretty exciting and fun.
Yeah.
You know what? One thing I think that's kind of awesome about Midsumma, when you do go to the website and you look at everything that's on, and yes, I'm a performer. There's lots of cabaret comedy and all that kind of stuff going. We have a show. Look at us, art. And then when you look at the visual art, like there's some really in-depth and exciting, and there's quite an array of stuff. Yeah. I think that's something really interesting when it comes to what art is. The many different types and.
I agree. I think it's really valuable, especially for Midsumma. And the thing that Midsumma does that distances itself from things like just Mardi Gras, which is kind of just a big party parade. They do have other events, but it more so.
We love that too, though. We love that too.
But I think what's really valuable about Midsumma is that it does have the visual art side, and there is a conversation going on with all their kind of visual arts events that are a lot more serious and kind of worthwhile to have a breather and take a step back and kind of, appreciate
Absolutely.
art. Yeah, not
appreciate art.
Yeah.
Not art, but art.
Not just beautiful torsos.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true.
Other conversations.
What was the first Midsumma that you ever did?
It's been a long time,
long
but it was
time.
at 45 downstairs at that point. I think it was the first year Rat.
Were you nervous at your first artistic Midsumma?
Yeah, very much so, because I thought my work was very much abrasive towards the kind of stuff that was being shown at the time, and so I was a little bit nervous that I didn't fit in, and I was making this really bizarre stuff that everyone was like, no, but I mean, obviously it's been an amazing kind of journey with Midsumma, being the premiere artist in 2013 at Red Gallery. That was an amazing experience, and then being given the lifetime membership, which is just nuts. So Yeah.
So here's something funny, because I mean, I'm a performer, so I look at Midsumma from very much this kind of perspective, and you're a visual artist. And so when you kind of look at Midsumma, what stuff do you look and find for? What excites you?
I like to look at the performance stuff as well. I kind of look at it for every event and see what, in terms of my own education and what I'm interested in, what jumps out at me. So it's not just I'll go to the visual art stuff, but I do tend to look at that first to just lock down the galleries or whatever show is happening. But there's a lot of really cool kind of one-party event things with like visual video stuff. There was something on at the place behind the art centre, testing grounds.
There's so much testing grounds, doing a whole lot of different things, and that is really exciting.
Yeah.
The Midsumma are throwing all those things, that melting pot of art together, which is really awesome.
It's really cool.
It's great that we have something like this in Melbourne.
Yes. Oh, well, it suits Melbourne so perfectly as well. So, yeah.
So here's a question. Do you have a favourite Midsumma memory?
Oh, God.
I know, I'm going right in there with the deepness.
A favourite Midsumma memory.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done at Midsumma?
Oh God, probably dressing head to toe in black, painting my head black, wearing a black ruff to the opening for for the Wabi Sabi show. That was I mean, it's Midsumma, you can do that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, riding that tram home was not fun.
Do you get to go to Carnival and Pride March and things like that as well?
Yeah, so I always go to Pride March, always. You know, we shouldn't take for granted kind of how easy we have it as queer men here, or LGBTQI. We have it very easy in Australia. So I always go to Pride March. But Carnival, I always go to Carnival and tea dance and that kind of stuff.
And get a bit sunburnt. And, and dance around and have lots of fun.
Yeah, and catch up with friends and stuff like that. It's great to feel kind of just, you know, it's there and it's happening and it's not a big deal.
It's really wonderful that we have this and we're able to celebrate it in that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting and I love it.
Yes, me too.
So this has been a very quick chat about all things that are artistic and arty, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come.
Thank
even though you're covered in art right now and you're living art, and art is fantastic. So thank you for coming, Matto.
Thanks so much.
Art is your life and art is great. You've been watching Midsumma Musings on Ben TV.
Hi, my name's Mark Hadden, and we're here today on Bent TV, and we're going to be talking about one of my favourite subjects, queer TV. Seeing we're on queer TV, I'm joined by Hayden and Judy. Thanks, guys, for joining me today. Now, I suppose I suppose I'm a little bit older than probably both of you, but my first recollections of queer TV were number 96, and there was a character called Don. And I think he was the first character on television. And I suppose when I was young, I was always looking for role models on TV, as that's a medium I love. Did you guys have same experience? Did you have a awakening to TV with queer characters?
Queer as Folk was one of my starting point TV. Seeing a gay character on television and then having the entire show as being centred around queer culture and those guys' lives, it was just amazing. And I remember watching it thinking, I want to live that life. That looks so amazing. And have that group of friends as well. And I still watch it. I'm rewatching it at the moment. So, yeah, love it.
Love it. Now, Judy, you're actually quite a fan of Queer as Folk, and that's actually taking you many places. But
yes, many.
What would be one of your earliest recollections of queer TV?
Pretty much that show. I watched the British version with my son introduced me to it. So he watched it first and then I watched, and then we used to watch Queer as Folk together.
So it was a bit of a bonding experience for you?
Sort of. Yeah. I know. I used to tape, his boyfriend was working at a restaurant at night at the time, so I remember taping some of the episodes for him.
Did you secretly watch them before he came home?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, it was 10 o'clock Monday night was like the highlight of my week.
So what drew you into Queer as Folk? Now, we were talking earlier and you said that you are a fan of the American version.
Yeah.
What sort of drew you into Queer as Folk?
Well, the men are gorgeous for a start. Mm-hmm. It's the stories, I think. You know, I think this is what a lot of people have said. actually Peter Page from the show said they came for the queer and stayed for the folk, because that's, essentially, everyone's the same, and that's what the story is about. They have all these, things in their lives, but essentially it's the same as what everybody goes through, so.
I like it for the I don't know, it's almost like they're a family and they're a really tight unit.
Yeah, that's right.
And they look after each other and look out for each other. And I remember there's an episode where Emmett goes through this tumultuous worrying about whether or not he's got HIV or and it was just, but we can all be, we've been in that position, I'm sure, have I been infected, have I not? And it's just so real.
Yeah.
And that's part of, I think, the show's appeal was that it reflected our lives, and it was something that we hadn't seen on television before. I mean, I remember the character Teddy going through the crystal addiction, and I had friends who were going through that. Yeah, so that really, related to what I was actually going through in real life. Yeah. So I think that's one of the appeals. Obviously, there are other great gay series in the past. I mean, Will and Grace, of course, is probably one of them. Are you a fan of Will and Grace at all?
Well, I am, but I don't think the way they portrayed the gay characters in it was, it was always so funny. Like as a bit of a comic character more than anything. More than realistic, you know what I mean?
But everyone loves Karen.
I love Karen. Yeah.
But I think she's like almost a gay icon. I don't know how many lines I can quote of hers. But
well, I still call myself. I still book under restaurants as Anastasia Beaverhausen. When I go to a restaurant, I mean,
I don't even know how to spell that.
Yeah, but it was definitely one of those seminal series that even just recently I heard Deborah Messing speaking about the vice president, I think it might have, I'm not too sure which vice president she was talking about, said that it was a very, very much a cornerstone in gay rights in America was Will and Grace, because it actually brought it to a wider audience.
Yeah, and almost normalising, I think. Not that we need to be normalised, but putting that out there, as you say, to a wider audience has that more level of acceptance or understanding about our lifestyle or that we are real people and we are folk.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. It's almost like advertising for our brand, I suppose, in one way. But
yeah, I mean, and there were other shows. I mean, I can't really remember the Ellen Show that much, but that was definitely groundbreaking at the time, having a major lesbian character as well.
Yeah.
Glee, look at Glee. How many characters are gay or lesbian in Glee? And it's just this common thread in the acceptance, but also the trials and tribulations that everyone goes through. I remember crying, and my partner at the time, well, he's still my partner, laughing at me because I'm bawling my eyes out when Kurt and Blaine first meet, and he sings "Teenage Dream" to him.
It's one of my favourite songs.
Oh, yeah, that was a great scene too.
Top 25 on my iPod. But it's just amazing. I feel very privileged that we've got people and companies and production companies that make shows like this that we can, be part of it. It's part of our lives and it reflects our life and helps us identify with the things that are going on with us at the moment.
Mm.
Judy, do you think it's almost necessary for a mainstream American show these days to include a gay character? I mean, we've had shows like How to Get Away with Murder, which is very popular at the moment, which has a very dominant gay character in it who has a lot of sex and
really?
Yeah,
put it on your list.
Yeah, put this one on your list. But do you feel like it's almost mandatory for shows to have a gay character these days?
No, I don't really. But I mean,
that's a really good question. That is a really good question. It's like the token gay character. Like, do we need a token gay character? I don't think so. Cause
do you need? Well, you need it, but I suppose it's relevant.
Yeah,
society.
Because I look at shows like Happy Endings. Happy Ending.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not a typical gay character where he doesn't play. He's not camp. He's a bit of a slob. He's got a belly. He's just one of the guys. And more and more, I find like there are gay characters coming up in almost every show I'm watching, which is very, very different dynamic.
Do you think that's maybe it's ratings? Who knows? But I like that fact. I like the fact that there's a gay character, but I don't think that they need to have one in every show, but it's nice to represent society and the diversity in our society.
I agree. I think the more we have gay characters on TV, the better. And I want to thank you, Hayden, thank you, Judy, for joining me today. This is Mark Hadden, and this is Bent TV. Thanks very much.
You're watching Bent TV. Please visit our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and visit our website to find ways that you can support Bent TV.
Hi, happy Midsumma. So the Glamourhead Sharks have been around since 2002. We started out as an aquatics club that was swimming and diving and other water activities, water polo, but then we specified down to swimming, and we've been going to local events around Melbourne, around Victoria, around Australia and internationally since then.
I'm Catherine, I'm with the Glamourhead Sharks, very proud to be a Glamourhead Sharks. I think for me, swimming's a bonus. I think I'm predominantly a member of the Glamourhead Sharks for the sense of community and belonging. Such a great group of people. And the swimming and fitness is a bonus.
Well, who does the club cater for?
It's a very diverse club. We have all ages, swimming abilities, shapes, sizes, ethnicities, genders, although we haven't had a trans yet that we know of, but we're very welcoming and open to everybody.
And I think everybody's ability fluctuates too, so sometimes you might be faster than others, but there are a range of lanes, so there's always the option to drop back to a slower lane if you're not feeling as fit as you normally are.
And some people come for just the fitness and social part of it, some people come for competition, it's whatever you feel like.
So how do you manage those differing motivations in your members?
Well, we just welcome everyone, and we have 5 lanes, so you choose in which lane you want to go depending on what that lane's goals are for the night.
And for some people, their target is to actually move up lanes. I'm in lane 2 and aiming for lane 3 by the end of the year.
Okay. Where do the Glamourheads regularly train?
At Wesley College on Punt Road. It's an indoor 25-metre pool. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30, and then on Sundays at MSAC in Albert Park at 5:30. We ask for basic swimming skills. It's not a learn to swim club, but if you have basic swimming skills, you'll be welcome. And then every ability from there up.
And okay, so I've got my basic swimming skills, but I'm still a bit nervous. How does the club support me through those first few weeks where I may or may not stay? You know,
what we do is we buddy up new people with somebody. Generally somebody that's in their lane who can encourage them and do some instruction between the coaching. And what we ask people to do is to not push themselves too hard to start with, because often people try to keep up on their first and second sessions, and we say, well, maybe sit out some, go to the sides and don't push yourself too hard. We want it to be a fun experience as well as getting fit.
Yeah. Look, when I started, I swam 100 metres and I was stuffed. So you just build up very slowly. You only do what you feel like, and the coaches will speak with you when you come in and welcome and just make sure that you're doing what's right for you. So there's no pressure to be an Olympian or super fit or, to be anything other than yourself when you join.
Okay, but so if I came along and I really liked it, but I in the end thought, well, actually swimming's not really for me, but I love the club, I love the feeling of all the people, the community, sense of community. Is there something else I could do to be in the club?
Yeah.
We've got a group called the Frogs, which is the Friends of the Glamourhead Sharks. And there's a lot of family members and previous members who don't swim, but they'll come to social functions, to team dinners and our special events.
And remember, we're a fashion statement, not a swim team. So, there's lots of social occasions and things like Midsumma and Pride that people can get involved in, and
I'd like to hear from both of you why you joined the club and what being part of the Glamourheads has meant to each of you. Okay?
Well, when I first came out, I joined a lot of groups, and I sort of didn't really see myself reflected in the groups I joined were fantastic, but I wanted to see my own people, I guess. I want to see myself reflected in the people that I was mixing with, and it wasn't until I came to the Glamourhead Sharks that I found that sense of belonging, and I felt that this was a place where I could be safe, I could be myself?
Look, we're a very loving and diverse club. When I joined, I had a lot of body image issues. I was really nervous. I mean, being in a swimsuit's very revealing, especially on your first couple of sessions. But just the loving nature of the group, I got over that and got to just be more comfortable with myself. And, as gay and lesbian queer people, we weren't encouraged to be sporty in high school or when we were younger. And that's a nice thing. It's all ages and all, abilities, and it's just a very welcoming, loving club. So you don't need to feel like you're not good enough or a part of it. And you get to just build your self-esteem as you go.
Look, I would like to know who you are, gorgeous one.
My name's Ash. I'm part of Melbourne Surge Water Polo and I work in our recruitment area, so I'm in charge of all of our new players and getting new players on board.
How long has Melbourne Surge been part of the queer sporting community?
It's been around for a little bit over 10 years now, so it has been around for a while, and we're a constantly growing club and always looking for new members and to try and expand into our community as well.
Well, you're looking for new members. Who does it actually cater for?
So we are Melbourne's only GLBTIQ water polo club, so anyone is welcome to come along and join the club at any time and come along and see if water polo is for them.
Do you need to be able to swim?
It is probably a very important part of water polo, but we do actually offer people who don't swim that well. We have swim training sessions. They can build up their endurance.
Do you have a lot of crossover between, say, you guys and Glamourheads?
A little. We do have some of the Glamourheads who have come along and tried out in the past, and we have some of the guys that swim with the Glamourheads as well. But we are generally two separate clubs. We do obviously have a strong water polo focus, and swimming is just a component of our sport.
Okay. And what about, are there opportunities for people to join the club who may not actually really wish to participate? Like there could be organisers or masseurs or,
We haven't really had many people do that. A lot of people who do come along are interested in water polo as a sport, but we'd always be welcoming of anyone who does want to come along and be part of the club and what we do.
Yeah?
Yep.
Tell me about what would be a standard training session for you for the team?
Okay, so our club actually has two streams. So on Sunday afternoons from 3 to 4:30 we have our training session, and that's welcome and open to anyone. So we do basically a swim warm-up and then some drills and activities around throwing, egg beater kicking, and just some of the skills that are required for water polo, and then we play a game. Our second stream is for our competitive players, so our competitive teams play on Thursday nights. So you don't have to play competitively as part of our club, but it's always there if you want to.
Alrighty, I mean, I've watched a lot of your games. I saw you guys play in Antwerp.
Yes.
And great victory there for Melbourne.
Thank you. Yep.
It's a sport of such endurance, and stamina.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that must take some time for someone to build up to before they can actually play a whole game.
Yeah, definitely. So I joined 2 years ago and I was a fairly strong swimmer, and when I first joined and did my first training session, I nearly died by the end of it. 2 years later I can play a game now, and I'm actually quite happy with how I'm going and still improving as well. So.
Okay. And what about for someone new coming into the club? Are there people in the club who are there as mentors or to support and give guidance to new members?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a very strong support program. So I'm in charge of running that, and basically what we do is we assign players to buddy up with new people so that they always feel supported and have someone that looks after them and can introduce them to water polo. And we encourage them to take breaks when they need to ask questions when they need to. It is a very supportive environment.
Okay. So you said you joined up a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What's being part of the Surge meant to you as a member of the gay and lesbian community?
I've actually really enjoyed it. I've never played a team sport before, and I'd never really thought about what kind of team sport I would like to play. And I think the thing was for me, joining Surge, they offered a rookies program, so it was a sport that I wanted to learn and I could learn as part of a group. And to me, it's been really important that I can now play a team sport, and it's also been that I can join a team and not have to worry about homophobia in sport or being isolated in sport as the only gay person on the team or living up to an expectation. We are a gay team. Each year we run a rookies program at the start of our season, so this year it's in March, and usually it's around March or April most years, and anyone's always more than welcome to turn up at any time to any session.
Where's your training base?
Training is at South Yarra Sports and Aquatic Centre, which is at Melbourne High School on the corner of Chapel Street and Alexandra Avenue in South Yarra.
Nice and central.
Yep.
Okay,
perfect.
Thanks so much.
Lovely, thank you so much.
In next week's episode, we will be speaking to Subject to Change Cast and Crew, an Australian TV drama featuring, for the first time, same-sex attracted lead characters. The world premiere was held in Melbourne last week, and Bent TV was invited. Thank you for watching Bent TV. Please join us next week.